Hello viewers, today I'm going to present one application, latest ASP.NET application with multiple database operations. So first, with three different database basically, SQL Server, MySQL and PostgreSQL. So using one ASP.NET latest application, we have used .NET Framework 6.0, ASP.NET Core, and here is the project business ERP solution MBC project, and here is the uh, db connection app setting.json file. So using one project will make sure three different database operation. First, let's start with SQL Server. So we already have a SQL Server connection string. We have two different connection string for SQL Server. First one is Windows authentication without username and password, and SQL Server will take the Windows authentication. And second one is using username and password. Based on your SQL Server setting, you can use anyone. So I'm just passing the first one, no creed. So already we have a migration. Just for demonstrating the project, I'm just reading the migration, and I will create from terminal. So I'm running this project just for taking notes. From VS Code, you can run this project, Visual Studio, and run the DB migration and installing required packages using PMC Package Manager console. So as I deleted the migration, so now I'm going to create fresh migration for SQL Server. Here is the command. So I'm just running the migration for creating the fresh migration. Meanwhile, I have to go to my database SQL Server. Here is my SQL Server. How to check your server name? Just run this query. Select server name. So here is the server name. You have to pass the server name here from your database. This is your server name, not just copy paste. And I'm just make sureing deleting database so that we can make sure it's freshly. So I deleted the business ERP database. So migration successfully. Now I update the database using the update command. So .NET Entity Framework database update. Okay, let me give you the summary. So you have to make sure the first DB connection and run the migration and update the database. Once this process done, then you can successfully log in into the application. So also you have to make sure the required packages. I already installed the required packages. I don't go into the package install details. For it will take time and video will be longer. So DB created successfully with table. Now if we run the project, then we will definitely have the required data. So we have the seed data function. Here is all seed data I have written, and here is the program file, and here is the application.json file for db connectivity. And if you check the install packages, and you just go to the cs dot cs pros file. So I already installed like SQL Server Entity Framework Core, ASP.NET Core, Entity Framework Core, Entity Framework Core, SQL Server, and Tool. This is for SQL Server connectivity. Later I explain MySQL and PostgreSQL. So we have done the migration, update database, and if we go to the database, then definitely we'll have a new database very fresh. So here is the business ERP solution, and if we expand and expand the table, then definitely we'll have the tables. So and now I run the project so that we can change the details, check the change details, and I'll perform one DB operation. And running the SQL query will check the DB operation is run successfully. So project is running successfully and inserting the um, drop down demo data basically. Taking time because I have added items, user, and yes. So we project is running on port 5001, and we have a login screen. And just enter, then it will establish the connection. So you just clear the username and password. Also copy for demo purpose. I added this table. So login. So this login is performing using SQL Server connection and with along with required demo data. This is the dashboard, and if we go to the manage sales invoice, then we will have an invoice option. We can create invoice from here and press invoice, create new invoice. I'm just selecting random some three quantities, add items. I'm just selecting another quantities, add items. If you select full paid, system will perform the full paid operation. You can make transaction, partial transaction as well. Safe. So payment has been created successfully. You can invoice the, you can print the invoice and also perform the final invoice operation. And so this is operation is performing using SQL Server connection. Let me verify the once invoice has been, this is the recent invoice, one invoice has been created. And if we go back to our DB, then select start from, you have to select your DB name first, like business ERP, select start for payment. Yes, so we have just one row just we created. So summary is we have performed SQL Server connection using connection string, and you have to make sure required packages, install packages for SQL Server, and first you have to perform data migration, update database, and run the project. Then you can able to perform. So all the things we have done in this project, you just download the project from Code Canyon and build and run the project, and maybe you have to select one connection string and don't worry about the other things. We handle all the things very carefully. So we have done first operation. Now I move to the second operation using MySQL database. I just closing this application and copy the MySQL connection and pass the MySQL connection DB connection string in here. So if we review the MySQL connection, you have to pass your local host and port number and the database name. Let me open my workbench so that I can demonstrate. So I already have a business ERP solution database here. I just going to drop this database, drop database. So now I will make sure same operation what we did for SQL Server, delete the migration, create a new fresh migration, and update database. So once migration is creating, let me give you just application overview. This application is supported multi-language. This application also code fast, and this application is supported audit trail. You can check all DB operation there, and user management we have covered dynamically. A role management system, you can create role dynamically. So DB migration created successfully. Now we'll update the database, and once it's update database successful, then if we go to the database, then we can able to check our database with just a table without data. Once run the project, then system will generate the CDR data. And if we refresh the database, it's still creating, not db not created yet. So we, yeah, build success, and table is creating. So table creation success. So yes, we have a new business ERP, and here is a table. So DB created successfully. Now our next step is run the project. .NET Run. I'm just using VS Code. You can use this project using Visual Studio. Just you have to make sure build and run the project by pressing the play button or F5 from the Visual Studio. So inserting the demo data. Uh, yes, it is taking time, and now we'll log in using MySQL DB connection. So I just go to the account.login slash login basically, and clear. So we have a login screen and copy the username and password. So we are just going to log in as a same application but different database. So previously we log in as a SQL server. Now we log in application by connecting MySQL. So we'll perform one operation same as SQL server, just for cross checking is a DB connection is connection established is success, or all DB operation is inserting properly. So manage user management. We already have a demo test 11 user. Now I'll create one test user so that we can check the DB operation test user. And phone number, I'm putting the random number 123 123, and user role is general, branch is branch one. I'm just putting just random test data. So user created successfully, so we have a 12 user now. So now if I go back to the MySQL and select the user profile, so we have to select the database by clicking, double clicking, so user profile. So we can see definitely have total 12 row. So previously it was 11 as a default, now one row has been inserted. So using MySQL connection, we successfully create migration, update database, and connect the database and log in into the application and perform one CRUD operation. So you can use this application using MySQL connectivity. So you don't worry about the connection string, install packages, all the things we have done. You just download and build the project using VS Code on Visual Studio. And I'm just log out, and we have the final things like make sure this application is supported. The PostgreSQL, we are going to the repeating the same things for SQL Server and MySQL. So we have to pass the connection string like PostgreSQL, paste here. So you have to pass the connection string PostgreSQL, and you have to make sure your host name, your database name. You just no need to create the database. So please take a note: do not create a database manually. System will create the database dynamically, and ID is both username and password. So we have just passed the PostgreSQL database connection string. Let me delete the database migration. I'll create fresh migration for the PostgreSQL. Before creating fresh migration, I'm just building the application. And once building the application, just give you the best major overview of the business feature of this application. This using this application, you can manage user and with role based. So migration build success. Now we have to create the migration. So you can manage user dynamically, and let's say you have a 10 total 50 pages of this application. So you can just assign some user for 10 pages and some user for all pages. So super admin user can access all the pages. And using this application, you can fantastically manage your all invoices, and also you can print invoices. Also you can share the invoices over the email. Also this application supported the POS operation. So DB update success. If we go to the PostgreSQL, so we already have a database. Now I'm going to delete the Postgre business ERP. Delete. Yes, so business ERP. Okay, don't save. Delete drop. Yes. Database busy because it's using. Okay, let me open my PostgreSQL again so that I can delete the database. And PC admin, opening my PC admin. It's taking some time. I have to pass my username and password. So just I'm copying my password and paste here. Okay. So our PC admin opened successfully. So we have a business ERP. Drop the business ERP. Yes, yes. This time business ERP dropped successfully. We have successfully create the migration. Now we'll update the migration. So database operation is going on, and once database update operation done, then if we go to the database, then by refreshing we can get our database in the PostgreSQL. So currently, if I refresh, so yes, table is creating. So now if I refresh again, then we will have a business ERP solution. And in the PostgreSQL, just giving you a basic overview. If you expand the database, then you don't have the table name, you have to go to the schemas, and then later you have to go to the tables, then you can get your all the tables. So this is the business ERP table list. And if we go back to the application and run the project, then we can able to perform this application using a PostgreSQL connection. So running this application, and I already in the login screen. So inserting the demo data, if I just clear the login screen, and hopefully this application insert operation will success, and DB application is running using the same port 5001, and enter. So this is our final demonstration for different database connection using one ASP.NET application. So using one ASP.NET application, you can able to connect different database like SQL Server, MySQL, and PostgreSQL. So I'm just login as a new database connection, which is PostgreSQL. Just login. So a login operation is success, and I just for verifying, I will make sure one DB operation. Go to the invoice and create a new invoice for testing, and just invoice, add item, and just putting and selecting random quantity, add, and post full page, save. So invoice created successfully. And for verifying, if we go to the database and perform one queries like payments, select start from. Yes, so we have one row in the payments table. So we have validated DB connection and insert operation as well. So if we summarize this video, so we have make sure three different DB connection, and also using this three different DB connection, we have performed DB operation, and all DB operation is successful. So this is the important business ERP solution, and we will provide entire complete source code. If you interested in this application, you can go to the Code Canyon, purchase and download the latest code base. You don't think about worry about the connection and library. So all the Nougat packages, all the things we have done, you just need to extract the zip file and build this project using Visual Studio or VS Code, whatever you comfort. And before closing this video, let me give you the final overview. So here is the DB connection. You have to pass one DB connection here, and you have to make sure your server name, username, and password. Also build the application. And one important point, do not create a database manually. So system will create the database. Once you run the project, database will create an all seed data. So we have a seed data. Here is the seed data function. So this is the MVC project model. We have a model and controller and the view. And the www root, we have a JS for front end operation. All the page wise folder we have created for front end operation using a jQuery. Most of the table like grid view, if we go to the like user management, here is the grid view with page ignition. So we have done this grid view using jQuery and data table and search operation and page ignition, and data load is pretty faster. So thank you for watching this video. If you interested and like this application, and if you have a like different DB option, like if someone wanted to interest in MySQL and also PostgreSQL, and someone have all the business requirement with SQL Server, then you can go with this application. And the major feature is this application is supported multi-language. If I choose the by English to Arabic, then it will dynamically move the sidebar from left to right, and if I select English, then it will back the default. Also, this application is supported email communication, and email communication is dynamically Gmail SMTP. Also, this application is supported dynamic rule management system, and this application also have audit trail. You can check all DB operation there for any DB connection, and also the robust reporting like item report, sales report, purchase report, and also the barcode report. In the other report, you can print the barcode as well for your items. So lots of feature we have tried to cover in this application, and the code base is pretty simple. I already explained the basic stuff. So model view controller and the front end we have perform in the www.js folder, and already I have added the required library there. So I'll give the complete latest source code along with the required documentation so that you can run the project and perform selecting any DB based on your needs. And if you faced any difficulties deploying the IIS, local IIS, also the Azure and Linux, I will definitely give you support. Also, this application is supported like Linux, Windows, any server. So thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.